Hello everyone, this is Andrea K. Butimus, and it's the first part of kind of a brief overview of Ars Magica 2. Ars Magica 2 is a mod that adds in magic, a magic system into the game. At first, you will not actually have magic unlocked. In order to unlock it, you have to have a few items, and something that you find only in the world. There's a mystical substance called Ethereum, and look, as soon as I mention it, there's some. This is called Liquid Ethereum, and this is basically a magical liquid that Ars Magica 2 adds. Whoops, I'm in it. Now, in order to unlock magic, we're going to need two things. You're going to need to have an item frame. You're going to need a book. So it might take you a little while to get these things. Item frame, book, and when you put this in, a really cool effect will happen. You'll see all these runes flying out of the Ethereum, and you'll see that it changes this frame, the book in the frame, into something else too. Oh, wait, where'd it go? Probably because I'm in creative mode, it freaked out. 1 second. Okay. There we go, now it says I have unlocked the secrets of the arcane. Now what I've just unlocked, this is called the Arcane Compendium. And as you open it up, you'll see there's a whole slew of things here. There's guides to how to even use the compendium, mechanics, items, shapes, blocks, components, modifiers, etc. There is a lot of information in this mod. I highly recommend reading through the compendium because it will explain everything even better than I can explain it. Now that you've unlocked magic, the next thing that you probably want to do is unlock the ability for you to create spells using certain components. I'm going to swap over to the multiplayer server because I already have some of that set up. So, I will see you guys soon. Bye. Hello! This is our Journeys to Adventure server. Sorry about the particle effects. The first thing, after you've retrieved your Arcane Compendium, the first thing that you will need to do is you need to build an Oculus. Now, to build an Oculus, you will need glass, stone bricks, coal, and this thing called blue topaz. Blue topaz is an ore found underground. It looks kind of like this. I'm going to show it off rather than actually go find it in the world because it will take a while. You'd find that, you mine it, it drops this directly. It's kind of like diamonds. You build one of these, and when you right click on this, you'll see you'll initially have 3 trees and you will have 3 blue skill points. Now, I recommend each of these things here is like a different component that you can add, that you can unlock to be able to use in your spells. The game is a little funny. Like, I could create a spell with some components and hand it off to Undead Domain, and he has totally different components. But there's basically just 3 types of components. Square ones are shapes, hexagonal ones are effects, and diamond ones are modifiers. For instance, this is a projectile shape, and this is force damage, so it does basically physical damage to a target. And here's one magical damage. And these are modifiers. I haven't used these a whole lot. This one makes projectiles affected by gravity. This one makes them bounce, which is kind of interesting, but I've never actually tried it. But there's 3 different trees. This is the offense tree. There's a lot of things like lightning damage, being able to conjure storms, airwave effect spells, making people drown. There's a defense tree, which includes things like slow fall, levitating, giving yourself haste, healing, up and 2 and including flight, and all sorts of other fun things. I think it even has things like shields, if you can get deep enough. It also has summoning. There's also the utility tree, which gives you things like digging, Wizard's Autumn, that actually lets you remove leaves from a tree. Then we have Feather Touch, placing blocks, all sorts of interesting stuff, and one that will let you create light. And then you have a talent tree. I don't know if this is initially unlocked, but this includes super useful things like mana regeneration, spell motion. This lets you, when you're right-clicking to cast, it lets you move around at normal speed. Augmented casting, which I've unlocked, which lets you do even more damage. And this is the affinity thing. It's a little more complicated. I would let the compendium explain it, but basically, based on what spells you cast, you gain an affinity. And at a certain level, you'll actually start to get certain effects. Like, if I'm far enough into water, I will get a swift swimmer, expanded lungs, fluidity, enderman repellent, and I'll be weak to fire damage. Whereas the fire one will make me weak to water. I will get the ability to punch things and light them on fire. I've got an ender and arcane, both selected. Anyways, but that's the Oculus. Once you've unlocked components, you build something called the inscription table. Inscription table is pretty simple. Slabs over planks, a torch, a feather, and a spell parchment, which is just paper and 2 sticks. When you right-click on this, it might seem a little intimidating, but up here, all the different parts that you can put into your spell, all the different components. And let's see, I have it, normally when you start at tier 1, you'll only have, I think, 3 slots, or maybe it's only 2 slots, and I've upgraded mine to a tier 3 table, so I can put in 5 slots. Each of these slots is where you put a shape. For instance, I could do projectile, area of effect, beam, self, touch. So I could have a spell that can cast, let's say for instance, force damage. I can do force damage as a projectile, then switch it so it does an AoE around me, or switch it to do like a beam effect, or switch it so it casts it on myself, probably not recommended because I'd hurt myself, or to cast it on touch. Okay, so that's kind of a really, really brief rundown. You can actually combine things even more. Can I do self? Oh, I don't know what that was saying. So if I do self AoE, does that work? Okay. And then I do projectile AoE. Okay. And then when I'm done, I can put a name here, I can search for components here, and this requires an inscribed book, which I don't have any. So, and when you're done with that, you'll take this inscribed book out, it will have whatever name you've selected, and let me pull out one that was completed. This one here is called Ruin. It's a really, really simple magical spell. If I open up here, I can see all the different shape groups. I only have projectile, and then I only have the combination. It only does magic damage, and it'll show me materials that I need in order to actually craft the spell. All spells will require at least 1 blank room and 1 spell parchment, and all the other parts depend on the shapes and the different shapes. Excuse me, all the different shapes and components, shapes and effects and stuff that you chose. What's here? Oh, and then it shows the affinity, like what affinity you gain by casting it. Now, in order to actually craft the spell, you do need one of these books, and you also need a crafting altar. Hey guy. This here is a crafting altar. You can see it's kind of blended in. Crafting altars are not that difficult to build. Crafting altar. It's something called Vintium dust and stone. Find Vintium dust from ore, Vintium ore. It's ore with these blue silver veins. I think you need iron in order to mine it. Looks like you can also smelt it down from blue topaz ore, which is kind of cool. Or chimerid ore. Ooh, that's nice to know. So you're going to need one of these, a number of stairs, these things called magic walls, which is stone and Vintium ore, you get 16 of them, and you're going to need materials and caps. Now my caps are glass, and my materials are wood, so that's gonna increase the strength of the whole entire structure. All of this is explained inside the Ars compendium, so if it gets a little too overwhelming, then you can go ahead and look in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show off crafting the spell, because there is one spell that I usually like to make. Let's clear everything out. I usually like to have a good old handy digging spell. So let's do touch, projectile, and dig. And I'm going to need to go grab myself an inscribed book. Is it the full moon? Yeah, you'll see me obsessing over the full moon in our series. Okay, inscribed book. Let's see. Feather, ink sac, and a book. Ink sac, book, feather, get book and quill. I put this in here, it'll give me a warning, removing the book will finalize the spell recipe, and I don't care, I'm not very creative, I'm gonna just call this one Dig. Pull you out, and let's see what I need to build a dig spell. Okay, I'm gonna need a blank room, 2 Vintium dust, a feather, a raw fish, clay, arrow, snowball, orange rune, iron shovel, iron pickaxe, a spell parchment. I'm not even sure if we actually have all of those things. Raw fish. That would be in the food chest, right? Looks like I'm going to have to go fishing. I will see you guys when I have all the ingredients I need. Bye! Okay, everyone, I've got nearly everything I need. I just need to make myself some runes. Runes are really easy to craft. You just take some cobblestone, put it in a certain pattern that I can't remember. Blank rune, help me. Okay. Okay. That gave me 2 blank runes. Now to make the colored runes, you just use dye. Orange dye. Orange rune. So I think I have everything I need. I'm gonna double check. Blank rune, Vintium dust, feather, raw fish, clay, arrow, snowball, orange shovel, orange rune, iron shovel, iron pickaxe, and a spell parchment. Now, to begin the crafting process, I take this, right click on the podium, oh dear, and it's red! I think that means that my altar is actually not cool enough to actually craft this spell, so I'm going to need to upgrade it. Let's figure out how we can upgrade it. Arcane Compendium? Let's see what you can teach us. Here, you'll notice it's a lot more involved because I've unlocked a lot more stuff. Let's look in the structures. The crafting altar. Now I'm going to look here into these caps. So glass gives me 1 effect. Coal, 2. Lapis, gold, diamond, emerald, moonstone, sunstone. Do I have enough moonstone to make moonstone blocks? I don't. Coal, redstone, iron. I could probably do iron blocks pretty easily. So I'm going to go grab some iron blocks. Replace all of that glass with iron. I'm going to need more iron, actually. I hope Undead Domain doesn't mind that I'm using our iron. It's for a good cause. It's for magic. Plus, adding them as caps doesn't destroy them. Because I can always break them down. Okay, so I know. Shift right click to take it out. Right click again. Why is this still red? Oh wait, no, I'm remembering. Okay, so it's white. That means I can actually successfully cast the spell. So I throw the ingredients in order. I always start with blank rune. Now you'll see it consumed the blank rune, and now Vintium dust is floating up above. So I throw in a Vintium dust. Feather. Raw fish. Clay. Second Vintium dust. Arrow. Iron shovel. Iron pickaxe. Spell parchment. And now I have my new spell. When I pick it up, it's unnamed. When I right click it with the first time, I can name it and give it a cool little icon. There's a bunch to choose from. I have to find one that kind of conveys digging to me. I'm gonna go with this one because it's brown and kind of cool looking. So now I have my dig spell. You'll notice that it changed from a little unnamed thing, and now I've got like a little icon. So let's go test this guy out. If you notice in the lower right corner of my screen, underneath mana, it's kind of covered up. You'll see the little hand gesture. That means it's set to touch mode. Now when I hit C, it switches to projectile mode. So now I can shoot a projectile that will dig blocks. It is incredibly helpful. You'll also notice my XP bar, 524 out of 726. Oop. Now you get experience in Ars Magica 2 by using spells on kind of their intended targets. Like for dig, I would have to dig blocks. For my ruin spell, I would have to shoot enemies. Wait, where did you go? So I shoot him, I gain experience. And when I get enough, I level up, which gives me more mana, more burnout. And actually, every other level you also get another skill point, and the color depends on what level you are. You can also get skill points by finding them in the world, and our mine is kind of currently overrun by a dicer infection. So I'm gonna shoot some arcane blasts at them. Now you'll notice as I'm using the spell, my burnout is going up. As your burnout goes up, spells will cost more and more to cast. Eventually, you will run low on mana. Mana regenerates on its own. Okay, got him. Okay, let's test out our new dig spell. Now in touch mode, you have to be... the range, you have to be like really, really close to the object to actually dig it. So I usually prefer projectile, which I pointed at a block, boom! It shoots out a little projectile and digs it. I've used this a lot for something called Hungry Nodes in Ars Magica. I'm not Ars Magica. Thaumcraft has things called hungry nodes that are really dangerous and eat like the surrounding terrain, and they're really hard to get close to and break. So I took to shooting them with dig spells, which broke them. Which is super useful. Anyways, there's a lot of other stuff in Ars Magica 2. When I get to a high enough level, certain mobs start to spawn. Certain special magical mobs, like mana elementals, which drain mana and are resistant to magical damage. Wizards and mages and stuff will show up. Some of them are good, some of them are evil. So some of them will like follow you around if you right-click them. And stuff, and other ones will attack you with different varying spells. There's also bosses, which you have to summon with special rituals. I might have some of them available. Bosses. Apparently I have the Earth and the Water Guardian. That's what the Earth Guardian looks like. He's really big. I've actually never fought him. Actually, no, I have fought the Earth Guardian. I fought it with Dustfisto a few times. There's the Water Guardian. You have to do, like, a special ritual in order to actually summon them. It's a little complicated, but yeah. Almost everything you want to know is here in this compendium. There's only, like, 1 or 2 things regarding these structures called obelisks that aren't explained. Maybe that's here in the blogs. It'll talk about... I don't even know where it talks about obelisks, but yeah. There's things called obelisks, which basically generate magical energy, which you can use to even power magical devices. So there's a lot here. There's a lot to explore and learn. But basically that's kind of a brief overview of magic. There's a lot of different customization you can do. One of my little brother's favorite spells was one he calls Move, where he puts in like every single possible move effect into a spell, and basically gains the ability to move around like a madman, like jump and slow fall and stuff. It's actually incredibly useful for getting around without dying. Anyways, when you get to behind the level in Ars Magica, things called Moonstone Meteors are dropped. See here are the results. Here's the Moonstone ore. You can mine it with, I think an iron pickaxe is sufficient. Ooh, what's down here? And you mine this, and you can use this for a variety of different Ars Magica 2 items. Anyways, that was a brief overview of Ars Magica 2. You'll probably see me casting spells and using them as I adventure with Undead Domain. Hopefully when I unlock some really fun spells, I'll create some really super mega powerful spells that we'll use to take on these super powerful things. Anyways, if you enjoyed this series, go ahead and check out our Journeys to Adventure series. This one will be in a playlist, so I don't know how easily it is to attach, but you can look at that on my channel. Anyways, this was Beautimus. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye!